Peace and blessings, all my beautiful people. It's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe right now. Okay, what's going on, my beautiful people? It's Friday. I hope your energy's up, feeling good, because today is a day where we have to, this is where the relaxation just comes in. This is where we take everything that was going on in the week and we transfer it into our energy, and everything surrounds us and what we have going on for ourselves. So today is Friday. I'm feeling good. I hope you guys are feeling good. And before we start this episode off, I know I missed you guys on Wednesday. I didn't get a chance to do the live, and I want to give you guys a little explanation what was going on. I was working behind the scenes. See, what happened is, before we start this off, I want to let you guys know I'm doing something really, really big. I do investing, and I'm working on a new venture. So this is going to be something really big for me, and it's taking some of my time, and I can tell as these weeks go on that I'm gonna have to put more time into it. Even after this, I'm working on it. So I'll give you guys a surprise, not right now, because you know how this social media thing goes, but I have something in the works that's really, really going to be beneficial to all of us, and to me in my pockets. But yeah, so I came across some money, and I put it in the right places, and I'm feeling good because I have certain ideas, and some of them I feel like but this one idea was sticking on my head for months and months and months, and I kept thinking on it, and I finally said, yeah, I'm gonna put a blueprint together and get this thing going. So that's where I'm at with that. And yeah, so today is Friday, and I just wanted to talk to you guys. There's been a lot going on that I didn't get a chance to speak to you guys, and just give you my takes on certain things that's going on in the news as well as our community. And today's going to be a little different episode. I'm just going to take it a little light. I'm trying to keep calm and just bring it out to you guys, to my people, man, all my people out there that love me, and the people I haven't even met yet. So yeah, um I want to start it off again, and correct me if I want to make sure I'm saying this thing here right. Let me just make sure, because I always put his name. I get his name a little mixed up here. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, I just want to make sure I got his name here. Okay. So it's LGP Qua. I want to know what's going on with his whole case, and because I'm hearing that they didn't find. I seen there was video. How you doing? Good morning. Good morning. I seen a surveillance video of when they shot him. LG, I believe LG. Let's just say Qua. I seen the video when they shot him, and it was sad because it didn't look like it was some young people. It looked like it was some older guys. I'm hoping that they find justice to the family, and healing energy goes out to him and his family. Rest in peace. I really want to see what's going on with that. And before I forget, Mace, what's up with that album? Remember Mace said, when the Diddy trial starts, he's gonna be dropping an album. I was looking forward to that. I don't know if he's still pursuing that, but I'm hoping that Mace could still drop that album off, because we need new music. I'm gonna get into the music talk in a second, but let's just start it off with the Diddy. Okay, so I haven't got a time to speak to you guys, but I just want to give my take on from what I've heard so far with this whole Diddy situation. And off the back, it's absolutely gross. At one point in my life, I would say I was a freaky person, but seeing all of this, I don't think I'm that level of freaky. This is a whole different level of freakyism, I should say. And now, my whole thing on this whole Diddy situation, we're dealing with a guy that he's demonstrated monster traits about himself. But when I listen to the case and I hear everything that's going on, and I hear the talk in the media, because on YouTube, everybody's talking about this. There's no way you could duck this. There's no way. I don't even know how the jury is getting through this, because everybody's talking about Diddy. Everybody is talking about Diddy. When it comes to Cassie and Diddy, I would say they have put themselves in a place where it does sound like, and I'm gonna just to be, I don't know how respectful this will sound, but it sounds like they have junkie traits about them. Like the drug use it hit an all-time high with both of them, and they carved out this lifestyle for each other that wasn't necessarily going to be. It was going to be violence. It was going to be a whole lot. It's just like the balance was off, man. When I hear Cassie now, it sounds like, I would say this is sounds like a, it's up to like a 60-40 on Diddy, because Cassie sounds like, and I want to be very, I want to be, I'm gonna try to keep this, leveled out. Cassie sounds like she was doing, like she was participating in something that she wasn't had no business in. If let's just rewind it back from the start. She comes in there. She met Diddy through her man, which is Ryan Leslie, and Diddy ends up messing with her. I feel like, and I'm not saying that whatever happened to her behind the scenes and the things that happened to her is it's she was warranted that, or like she was deserving of that. But what I'm saying is a lot of this stuff that I'm hearing, it's all surrounding the beating that Cassie got from Diddy and the tape that we seen. My whole question is there anything else you guys have? Is this it? Because if this is it, I don't know if Diddy, they're gonna just they're monster charges, but these types of charges will be in state court. When it comes down to the feds, like the sex trafficking, this and that, this is the part that confuses me, because I'm so confused with this. If you're gonna try the man for, if that's all you have, I feel like Diddy has a better chance of beating this whole thing. And it's not that, and then it's not just saying beating it because he didn't do anything. It's just saying that it doesn't go with the feds lining of what they explain this to be. In other words, and Cassie sounds like, and there's a lot of gross things that I heard that's been going on. Like they have a lot of sexual issues. I'm not gonna downplay nobody. I heard like he has, like somebody said something like a Tootsie Roll or something, like his size, whatever. Like I told you guys, when you're dealing with the drug use and all of that, your performance in bed is not gonna match up to the high that you're on. It's just not gonna match up. Some people think that way. Like in our time, they say have drinking Hennessy, but to me it never worked out. I feel like when it comes down to sex and things like that, you do best when the more healthy you are, the more you're clear-minded. With all this drug use that they've been going through, it's absolutely disgusting, man. How do you guys feel at this point up with this whole Diddy situation? Do you feel like Diddy is gonna and when I say beat the case, I just mean beat these charges that are the person that they're painting. Yes, it fits him, but I don't think it garners him doing Fed time, or like people would say 25 years in prison for over excessive drug use, and both parties being, because she did agree that some of the stuff that she was like kind of like she was for it, and then some of it she wasn't. So it's kind of like you was for this, and it just this whole case is so messy to me that it looks like it's a possibility that Diddy does have a chance of just not. I'm not, and it's, and if you really think about it, it's not just really beating it, because the man has been in prison for a couple months now, and to me, and 1 month in prison is too much. If you guys started hearing in the news, a lot of like Rikers Island out here in New York City, that's a jail, it's not a prison. But these are places where that people lose their insanity, and some people don't even make it out of these places. So when it comes down to this case, I know the abuse, and I know that part of it. Yeah, that's absolutely wrong. What he did behind the scenes to people with the contracts, taking people's money, yeah, that's absolutely wrong. But that is not what he's being charged for. What they're doing right now is they're painting this character of him and the things that he went wrong about this. But if they don't have any more, or they don't have, because they said that they did show the tapes or pictures of, and people, like I guess his family and things like that walked out, because I just feel like saying and doing all this around the kids, and kids having to look into this case, and it's just a way too much. It's just way too much. I think hopefully, I put it like this: if he does get out, hopefully he gets to change his life and change himself and become a better person, man, and try to fix his wrongs. because those are things that you can do. You can change yourself, you know. And I'm saying this is what happens. This is the reality of what happens when drug takes over a relationship. And now both parties, they're not even themselves, and they're doing things to each other that possibly could get themselves in prison. Because I do feel like Cassie is holding back something. There's something like she's not telling. I don't know. I heard this a lot going around on YouTube. Like this, it looks like a ritual and things like that. This is when you realize some people got to find God in their life. It's not about just moving on without correcting your wrongs. I feel like with this Diddy case, it looks like, what do you got on the man? I know the things that I'm surprised that he's been doing behind the scenes. Yeah, that surprises me. It doesn't mean that I necessarily are gonna support him and do things like that. But if you don't have, if it's not right, it's not right. If both of those parties were involved, it sounds like both of them were at a point involved. And don't think I'm an idiot. I'm not excluding the R, what he did to her. She's claiming that he did R to her, but she didn't. But at the same point, how many times does it take for you, Cassie, as a woman, as a female, to understand that if somebody is going to do you wrong and abuse you, like you say, how long does it take you to remove yourself from this man? Now, I know that he's a rich guy, and you know he probably he had a lot of stakes in everything she did, from car note, everything was signed in his name. Understandable. But sweetheart, you have to leave all of that back if you want to start your own life and do what you have to do. If you have the things that you had tied to him, that he had tied to you, those are things that he was control of, because he's paying for this stuff for you. So at the end of the day, I look at this case and I'm looking at it like, man, you know, like I can't say she was just an innocent angel. I can't say that. I really can't say Cassie was just innocent and was just like not knowing what was going on. She knew what was going on, and I feel like her honesty is the only thing that she could paint in this picture right now, because I feel like it's something that she's leaving out. There's a lot of things that she's leaving out. And it's not to say that she hasn't been through anything, because I do feel bad of what she went through. It doesn't matter, you know. I see a lot of times when it comes down to these court cases and these types of situations, I see a lot of times people sway towards the female sometimes, but not, and just taking their opinion as all truth. There's gonna be truths, and and I realize there's gonna be things that might not be, not necessarily tell lies, but left out, in other words. And I hear that in this case. It's like it's really tricky from the, you know, as far as his character, the way they played out his character, you know, how he likes to do things and rub things, you know, on guys' nipples or whatever. It's absolutely gross to hear. But then again, like I rewind back, like I always told you, people don't realize, especially in hip hop, that there are bisexual men in there. And he became one of the ones that just got caught, and it's all his business out in the open. In other words, Pandora's box is open for the world to see at this point. And I'm just like, where are they going with this? So right now, it's kind of like a 60-40. I don't really know where this case is going to land. But I'm thinking about, after this is all over, like, how are you going to change your life as a person, Diddy? You know, like, it's none of my business, but at the same point, it only becomes our business when you are hurting the public or people around you. Are you going to be that guy that goes out there and think that, you know, life is like, you know, just a power driven experience? Because if that's the case, you'll find yourself back in the same places where you're now at. And I feel like if he does want to change his life, and that man wants to turn around his life, from what I'm hearing so far in the cases, there's a possible chance that he can do that. He can become a better person. So we got to leave that on the table as well. Another thing is when they said that, you know, like, what about all the talk that his bodyguard, you know, I didn't hear any. All I'm hearing is, in this case, is they're going back and forth with this whole tape that they're seeing. I haven't heard anything. You guys got to correct me. Did you guys hear anything about him drugging anybody or anything like that? Because these are parts of the stories that they're not mentioning. I feel like they're not mentioning it because this might be the only evidence they have. I feel like if they have anything else that's sustainable, that's possibly gonna seal this, they have to do it now, because at the end of the day, what we've heard as the public, on just our public opinion of this whole thing, it's really not enough to take that man's whole life, because two people are overdosing on drugs every day, overly sexual, and doing all these freakish stuff, having calling people in and flying people in. I feel like that is a lifestyle that not us as the people, we might not indulge in, but it is a lifestyle that's going on out there in the world. So if that's the case, then what do you have on this man that you're charging him? And because we're up to the point where people need some answers. We seen Cassie, she's been, I would say, somewhat truthful about her situation, and it doesn't sound too good on her side either. You know, I hear people saying, you know, two junkies, and it, not to downgrade anybody like that, but they're at a state where that, like, come on, man, what are y'all doing? And then you have, she has her husband, her baby father in there, and he's leaving the court. It's because I don't know, man. It just it's nasty out there. If this was state court, then it'll be a different conversation. But being that this is this is federal, it's like, what federal charges do you guys have that you can present the evidence instead of just going out there and just concentrating on this tape that we seen him abusing her? Yes, that is wrong what he did, and I feel like if there was state court, yeah, he would have been, you know, there would have been time sent, you know, gave to him because of it. But if you're dealing with the federal, you have to just make it make sense here. Right now, it doesn't look good at all. And Cassie, she should, you know, this is a learning lesson that you don't, for all the females out there, don't just jump on a guy, you know, think that, don't let opportunity take your life. Because sometimes every opportunity ain't the right opportunity. You're jumping from guy to guy. It just shows that you would do anything to get with these people to get that success. That's what I feel so far, what I'm hearing with the case. Hold on, let me see. Respect to y'all. Respect and blessings to everybody in the chat. But we live in a society today that women make the wrong decisions and we blame them for that. Is the world going to blame Megan Thee Stallion for lying? Okay, I'm gonna get to that. You know what it is too? You said it, you made a great point. And I want to talk to you guys about that. Let's just put it all in the gumbo today. Okay, so I'm gonna break it down from the root and why we ended up in this position right now as far as the females and the male dynamic. It starts with over sexualization on social media. And like I tell you, men, we are some of the freakish and horniest creatures on earth. So when it comes down to a female, I just feel that, and you know, it's not like we don't have mothers, but females make mistakes too. Some of the decisions made by some of these females in that industry has been decisions that it's like sex for success, fake relationships, fake love for money. And I'm not pointing the finger at every female, because this is not every female. This is not, because there's also a side of this industry that females get taken advantage of. But as a female, you have to fix your crown and don't act like you never heard these situations. If you don't learn from somebody else's mistakes, and you find yourself in that place, it's not necessarily, it's a 50-50 at that point, because we're grown. A lot of females take opportunities and they know that there's a possibility they want more than just their talent. If you can't pick up on these signs, these are the signs that you're not supposed to be. And it's sad out there, because nowadays I see the younger, I've seen somebody interview, right? It was like one of these YouTube videos where this guy, he ran around interviewing people in the street. You know how they do. And they asked these two females, like, how much do you guys have a price? And they was like, price? No, we don't have a price. They said, well, if I gave you this, can I sleep with you? I think they said like $500. And it was like, so you females do have it. They don't realize that they do have a price, and that if money is the thing that's going to lead your decisions, this is where you can find yourself in so many places. And it's not females, especially the ones that's not, let's talk about the dishonest females. A dishonest female is so dangerous to society more than a male. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because the level of, when you have this over sexualization, people can see a pretty face online, right? See it on like on Instagram or Facebook or one of these places. Facebook is down, by the way, but they can see a pretty face and just judge a female off of that. And then when the female opens up their mouth, you're like, wow, you're one of those, And just because they look good doesn't mean that they're gonna be good to people or be the most honest person because they look a certain way. And we have a problem with that today in today's society because like we all know, OnlyFans, a female get on there, show her toes, show just being overly sexual, and she's making money. The dollars are coming in. So it's this type of prostitution mindset that has some females that's lost and don't know what's next to do, and they run and do anything, and they would say anything just to get money. That is a big factor that's going on, and it's scary for the young females the youth growing up, because they feel like money is the be all, and I just got to get my money. Whether they'll lie on you, whether they'll say whatever, or like in this case with Diddy and Cassie, if they participated together, that's a 50-50. If I'm doing drugs, you doing drugs, and the drugs make me go crazy, and I start beating on you, and then after the drugs I have no drugs, and I sober up and I don't beat on you. Those are two different. It's like a Jekyll and Hyde, and it's sad out here that we have some females that don't understand that some females will do anything for money. I see this happening. And it might not be the females that I'm around or you're around, but there's females out there we know in this world that we see on social media that they're doing wild, crazy stuff, and they want the same respect as a female that wakes up and really lives her life according to just, the norms and the things that successful females really get to the top from. Some females just take off their clothes and they say to hell with it, and they want money for that. That type of mentality right there just goes to show you how bad we are in society, and social media is piling up. That's why I felt like she would be in a better place if she didn't open her mouth. You understand what I'm saying? Because people would just judge her for looks but she has to take some responsibility in this too. I feel like a big responsibility to know. You can't say that you didn't know that you guys had a 10-year relationship. And within that 10 years, how long did it take in those 10 years for you to pick up on signs that he was a person that's not going to be beneficial to you as far as your well-being, not money? How long did that take? So now you find yourself in a place where he's abusing you, or you claim he's abusing you, and you guys are doing drugs, and don't let me I didn't even want to jump into it, but it was totally gross that the power that he pushed upon you when he made other guys urine is just to tell you that no other guy, once a guy hears about all of this stuff that he did to you, no other guy is going to want to be with you. And he threw that power dynamic on you, but you should have knew the type of person you was dealing with if you was dealing with him for 10 years. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? And it's not to say that I'm repping for Diddy and I'm trying to free Diddy shirt. It's not about that. It's about just the facts. If you don't, if this is if this is it, well, I don't think that Diddy should be put in prison for a bunch of time. I guess they would just put him in prison for, the wrongs that they have on him, which I'm yet to hear, like the serial number of the guns and the things like that. He'll just have to do time for that. But from what I'm hearing out of what she's saying, it doesn't sound necessarily like he did something out of what this type of drug use and this type of lifestyle comes with. In other words, us on a daily, we might not be into everything that they're saying, but we're human beings. We love having sex. We love being with a female. We love the companionship. But when you add this type of drugs and the pink stuff and all of this is the type of, and don't talk about when, like I always tell you guys, the more money you have, that makes it that much harder for you to come down on whatever high you on, whether it's your arrogance, whether it's how you treat people, whether it's your drug use. The more money you have, it just makes the door that much harder to close and say, I don't want to do this anymore, because you're indulging in it. I think the longest time he's probably been sober is now. So that's the reason why I'm saying it's better. Look, and this whole the painting the picture of him being a threat in society. Let's really be honest. I think that even if he's in society or he comes out of this, it's not going to be easy for him to do things to people without him getting in trouble. I feel like if he turned his life around, there is a chance that he can still, like correct those wrongs. Once you correct your wrongs, whether it be in the public or behind the scenes, we're only human. We're not God. God is the main, the Most High is the main. That's the main guy that's going to judge you. At the end of the day, if he could correct his wrongs, then I think two people in these relationships go their separate ways, and that will be it. He doesn't have to jump back into music or indulge in all of this stuff, but just get himself right behind. Because I'm seeing people pass away in prison, y'all. Prison is not the place that you want to be. This is for people that go out there. I see people that are going out there and they're murdering people and things like that. Well, they're gonna get the big numbers. But when you're dealing with it comes down to having, sex and the things like the things we heard about Kid Cudi and him doing all of that, that's a power dynamic. That's him taking power and showing people this. I'm showing you stay away from her. I'm showing you don't know. I don't want anybody else. She's mine. She belongs to me. That's that type of power dynamic, and that has to be corrected if he wants to come out and live a life where people don't feel like he's going to be overpowering them or doing something to them. But I don't honestly think that he's going to come out here like some John Gotti and start going at people. Or I feel like if he could correct himself, I feel like he has a chance of just trying to get over this thing and her, because it seems like she's moved on with her life. She has I believe a husband or a boyfriend. She has kids, one on the way. I feel like she's already in her her like refreshing stage, like trying to get her life, moving her life on. So at that point, there's still a lot to be said on his side. He has to get to that point where she's at, where she already moved on, and all of this gross stuff that they've been going through, this is a lesson learned for the youth. Don't ever sell yourself short. And for the ladies out there, this is a sad thing that's going on. No, I don't want to be a sugar daddy. I don't want to be a sugar daddy. I don't want to just pay you just to have sex. I don't want to just pay you because you look good. I want to be able to hold you down because I love you. Not all of this, that's why we are in a time where a lot of people are single, you guys. Hold on, let me read this. Yeah, we said, my brother, every woman has a price. Cassie, what's with Ryan Leslie sing? To be honest with you, you want to keep it a hundo? Ryan Leslie, he's a simp. He's a simp. Because honestly, now I'm looking at this whole situation, I really feel like she probably didn't even like Ryan Leslie when she was with him. She probably was just with him to try to get her music or her claim to fame going. And that's what happens with a lot of females. They try to jump up the ladder until they get to a successful point. That's not the way to do it. You have to have some dignity in yourself. And at such a young age, you're using all these drugs. Don't act like y'all wasn't both participating in it. Because from what I'm hearing, I feel like, honestly, Cassie, she's not saying everything. She's not telling everything. I don't know what the industry has there. It's very like demonic stuff going on. I don't know, I hear people saying their rituals and things like that. And I do feel like there's some truth to that, you guys. There's some truth to somebody giving up their whole soul just to be successful. And then when they find what success really entails, that's when they try to run or try to change their life when they got themselves to a certain point. That's not the way to go about it to me. I feel like they're both wrong in this situation. Like if he's doing time, she could be doing time as well for this nonsense. Like what's going on here? I don't hate nobody, but at the same point, I mean, the man, he had like an overwhelming thing of power and taking over, and it went too far. He gone too far. That's just, but everything else, like all I'm hearing is this rewind of just talking about the tape. I've seen the tape so many times. I don't want to see the tape again. We don't want to see the tape again. We understand that the tape is the tape. But if that's what the main charge is, why you bust up in that man's house and put all these other stuff on him? He should have been in state court handling this, but the feds come in now, and the feds don't play. I don't know where this is leading to. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but all I know is for everybody else, if you've been through things, not everybody's been through it this way, but I'm realizing that even some females out there that's been victimized or the R have been happened to them, this is not the same situation. This is not the same situation. Now, if he did do that stuff to you, and it's like, what makes that all shaky is because you came back and you kept coming back, you kept coming back. I don't know. It's like you keep coming back for this fix, and he's not fixing you. He's breaking you every single time. So your pursuit to keep coming back it's damn near. It sounds like a drug-induced relationship that's just went too far. I don't know. I don't know how else to say it. I heard all the gross stuff, and I'm pretty sure that there's gonna be other celebrities. And you gotta understand too, guys like Michael B. Jordan, Kid Cudi, guys like that, they were trying to date her. So it's like she's still going into the, whether they're different types of people, you're still on this dating it's the over sexualization has took over social media, y'all. It's a big thing, man. It's a big thing. I'm talking about people don't even want relationships no more. And they have every right, because some females don't have the type of mentality, excuse me, to know that when you come on here, if you have a partner, there's a certain way you have to conduct yourself. There's a certain way you have to, if you want respect, you have to earn that respect out from people. If people just seeing you throw yourself away and you're showing your nipples, you're showing your behind, and you're halfway naked every day on the Instagram, well, that right there doesn't attract me to you. But what it does attract is, it attracts the people that want to harm you, like these people out here that just stay online. They're addicted to porn, addicted to drugs. They're all over the place, and that's what that attracts. So if you're pretending like that's not happening in the world, then you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. Yeah, you have this one guy, he says you're beautiful, but then this other guy, he's beating off at his house and he's trying to find you, and he's going nuts because he feels like he wants to be with you. And it's all because of how you present yourself. You got to present yourself with some respect. I hear a lot of females get on here and they have the new talk about transactional relationships, and how, a guy has to have a certain amount of money to be with them. And meanwhile, half of these girls can't even cook. They can't even they don't know how to conduct a family, because they didn't come from places where their family was structured in a way that they see family's life is. It looks like the way these females are explaining it is like a job. No, it's not a job. It's life, and it's the way you raise, and you have an upbringing, and how you raise a family, and how you communicate. If your communication only surrounds sex, then you're selling yourself short. Because at the end of the day, a pretty face is going to be a pretty face. And as we move on and as we get older, we start to see that, life it's worth more than just selling yourself out there. That's the reason why I don't really deal with that OnlyFans stuff. I've never been on there. And it's not down on anybody that's on there, but it's just the type of mentality that some of these females have, that they feel like, oh, I'm left with nothing, let me just take off my clothes. And you find yourself with dudes like this. You're gonna find yourself in the wrong place. So I think she has to take some responsibility, at least 40% of responsibility in this situation. I'm not saying she was deserving of all of this, but I'm just saying that she kept going through, and the whole, a guy flying in or somebody flying in to have sex with you, all these orgies and all of this, and it was just absolutely gross. Somebody that loves you, that claims that you're their wifey or you're their shorty, they don't want to see another guy sleeping with her. I'm sorry. If that's the case, then you just in a whole pimp. It's like a pimp situation. And we know that don't get you anywhere. Who's going to get the money? The pimp. So if you're in there, you got to, I just feel like we're in a nasty place. So, social media it's painted a different picture on people. Some of these people, they come in from places where that they don't have the opportunity like other females, or they don't have the education. And that's what happens when everybody is just thinking money is the everything. Money isn't really everything. It's good to make money because you have to survive. But at the end of the day, if you put money in front of the things that really is meaningful in your life, you find yourself all over the place. Trust me, you do. Trust me, you do. I don't know, man. It's sad out there. Now, being that you mentioned the Megan Thee Stallion, right? When I heard that, in my head, I said, if that is true, that Tory didn't shoot that gun and he's doing time right now, it's almost a 50-50. Somewhat mostly his fault because maybe I hear some people saying it was because he wanted to keep it real. He didn't want to talk this and that. Uh, uh, that would be a stupid thing to do, knowing the time that you're facing. And Megan, if she did that, the karma that comes behind that, just putting an innocent man in prison because of whatever love triangle you guys had going, that's just, I mean, you can't trust anybody in these times. You can't trust any, and if they're a celebrity, they have an image to sell. So they're gonna want to be the most truthful, the most this, the most that, the most this. But if you're not that person and you're going out there and it becomes a point where you're lying on somebody and it ends up them losing their time in their life, well, the karma that comes behind that, it's crazy. I don't know how to call it with that Tory Lanez and I'm making this, but it sounds crazy because I believe he's doing like 10 years, right? Man. Look, listen. That's why I always tell you, you got to have people around you can actually trust. Yes, Cassie was willing and at some point enjoying the lifestyle. She was. I can't lie to myself. I can't lie to y'all. I got to kick it from how I feel. I feel like chicks. Let me speak to the females for a minute. When you conduct yourself in a way where money is like, oh, I gotta get it, and you don't have anything you bring into the table, you just want to get it out of a person. You're the female that's trying to get to the front row of the basketball game so the NFL or the NBA players could see you. You automatically put a price on your head. Now you're gonna have some simps in this world that say, you know what? Because a lot of those NFL dudes and NBA guys, they wasn't really in high school and stuff with all the chicks because it's not that they wasn't cool dudes. It's just that you don't have time. I remember in my high school, I went to St. John's. Y'all know the Redmen. After school, the basketball players, they have to stay. They have to practice. They don't have time to go after school and hop on the train and go to a shorty's house. Yeah, they still bust it up and get chicks, but when they get the money and they're looking for something, you guys all in their face with your boobs out and this and that, and y'all don't necessarily play a good part in us as male in our lives. You see, what people don't understand is us as males, we have emotions too. It's a difference between a person that's going to be overly sexual and coming into a relationship and they want to please you, but they have some things that they bring with themselves. Like you can see them being a good mother and you want to spend a lifetime with them. But if a chick is coming in for some opportunity, that means she don't even love me. She's just here because she wants me to put her in position and then dip off with. You remember the movie Casino? No matter how much he tried to marry the chick and tried to lock her down for a wife, she kept going back to the junkie dude, meeting up with him with his money, and it's like they were more in love with the drugs. They weren't in love with each other. She was just like, why did he pick me? But she said, you know what? He has a lot of money, but I'm gonna still find myself. So that's how you have to start understanding that. Like, yeah, I think that there was a point where she got a karma in this. She was living through her karma, coming in there looking for opportunity, and when she seen that what it was, or he wants to sleep me with this and that, she stayed with it. You can't say that was how. I don't know if she was looking at Diddy like that was her man for 10 years, but within 10 years, you think Diddy wasn't sleeping with other chicks? You think Diddy with on all those drugs kept all those chicks out of her sight? No, no, no. So it's like I feel both of them are wrong. I feel like both of them are wrong, and she just being so gullible. Why is she so gullible? It's the money made her gullible to, and it's almost like almost a greediness too. Like if another chick came in, she probably would feel a little jealous with all of that he was still doing to her. She probably would feel a little jealous if she seen another chick getting the same treatment because she was so used to that with him. So I don't know. Right now, it feels like it feels like something wrong. See, I don't like just, you don't just throw people away because they have bad habits. Drug use is something that I feel like when it comes down to that, it should be a something separate of places where that rehabilitation should be in a different spectrum than being in prison. Prison is as bad as it is right now. It's getting packed with people that don't necessarily we thought that should be there. Like, what's really going on with Shorty? Like, I don't know. I don't know. She doesn't rub me like the type of person where she was just like, oh, don't give me the drugs, this and that. She looks like the type of person that she was going with whatever he did. She's going with it because that's just the way it was. You see that? Diddy was still sleeping with Kim Porter. It's like, come on. And this is not knocking the monster people say he is, but it's just saying that this has nothing to do with him being in federal court. If this is all they have, then I'm all for the victims and people getting their life right and not being harmed by people that's taking advantage of them. But if this is all they have, then I don't know. I just don't know in this case. It's absolutely too messy. It's too messy. It's too messy to just say, oh, Diddy this, Diddy that. And this is, you know, nah, right now, so far, I just can't see it. Like the way the picture that they're painting, it's a picture of both of them being wrong. Both of them being wrong. And that's why I tell, for the youth out there, for the shorties coming up, stop trying to do everything for money all the time, y'all. What's wrong with y'all? There comes a point where and this is like, if you would like, it's almost like before social media, you guys, there was a lot of chicks like down in strippers and down in just like the whole over sexualized prostitution and all of this. But now when social media comes into play, it's like some of these females have this prostitute mindset that they'll do anything for money, and that ain't right. Nobody's gonna want to wife you, or when they see those type of, you can't trust these people. You can't trust a female that has her eyes just on the money. I don't care if you have the money or not. The more money you have, the more you have to guard yourself. And it's just like that. Like, that's the reason why. Like, how are you gonna look at me just because what I've earned and the things that I accomplished and say, you know what, I want parts of that and I'll do anything? No, you have to see if me and you gel together. That's how it works. If we gel, if you could bring something to the table that maybe could, upgrade, or I can upgrade you in a way where you can become. What's your dreams? What's your plans on the future without me being in this picture? If I ever happen to go and we have kids together, are you just gonna throw the kids out the house because you want to still live your life? Like, money can't be everything. Money is a thing that you can come together with, and it can make certain things easier, but when it comes to love, it has really nothing to do with it. Like, and this is the reason why we see a lot of celebrities, they can't even hold on to relationships. They can't. Because if you two celebrities dating each other, they both have the power dynamic of having money. So now it's like, oh, one thing go wrong and you're ready to run out the window. You're ready to run out the door, and this one going this way, this one going this way. Like, are you serious? We're gonna see a lot, and it doesn't look good for the ladies. Let me tell you, if you ladies, this is just a message to the ladies. If you ladies think, the way they produce women nowadays, it's almost like chickens. There's going to be a prettier chick every other, prettier, prettier, prettier. It just keeps going and going and going. And if you're just thinking on a sexual you're not going to win at that game. After a few years, it's almost like people are leasing their love. So if that's the way you look at love, then in a few years, if he decides to go with somebody else that's younger, cuter, more this, more that, then where does that leave you? Oh, now you got to sell more behind just to get in place? No. The guys with the money, if you can't get a guy to respect you just because, and he has money, then that guy is not for you. You're jumping around from guy to guy trying to find this goal that you don't even know what you're looking for. It's disgusting out there. Stop prostituting yourself. If you act like a prostitute, people are going to treat you like a prostitute. It's no man. After a while, he started showing people. The reason why he was showing videos and things of you is because of the things you did. Let's just say you didn't go for that. Let's just say you didn't want to do the drugs. Let's just say you didn't want to do the orgies. Well, then that's different. We would have had your back. We would have had your back. We would have said, you know what? Nah, man, he forced her into that. But it don't. You yourself said it. You know, this was a both. You know, y'all both decided on this lifestyle. And this is not the place to be in court to be smiling. And this is a serious issue. And I think this is the same problem with Megan not realizing that they gave that man 10 years. This is a serious issue. They throwing us away. And it's any man is going to be looked at as more overpowering when it comes to the females. But if you really look into some of these relationships and realize how that guy got there, yeah, his mental health was struck from the beginning. If he has to compete with everybody out there and knowing that you're looking for money, then it can always be another guy you run off to. And that's the reason why, you know, it makes this case that much more difficult. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not like I don't, you know, I agree with what was going on, but it's not like I see any evidence that says that he has to be thrown away for the rest of his life. What are we doing here? If that's all the evidence that I'm hearing for what we heard, all the gross stuff, the urine and the nipple rubbing and the baby oil, if that's all you got, a bunch of jokes and a sick lifestyle for character play, I don't think you got anything at all. So if the FBI, if the feds if they don't start pulling up some legitimate things or some pull out like, look, this is what he did. He got this person. If they don't have any of that, I just feel like right now, nah, it's not looking good for Cassie. It looks like it's something that you allowed, and when it went too far, you try to dip out. It looks like you was trying to dip in between like you was trying to dip off, but everybody you tried to dip off with came with some I guess not as powerful as Diddy, or you know, he could get in contact with him. But look at the type of people that you're trying to dip off with. You're still trying to stay in the same spectrum of the people of that lifestyle. So it doesn't say that you necessarily was, you know, running it. I don't know, man. You guys, what do y'all think, man? Yeah, it sound like some freaky stuff, like going too far. To me, it sounds crazy. It absolutely sounds crazy. And did you guys hear like Tony Busby, you know, the lawyer that was going at Jay-Z? He just won like $640 million. So this is money that I've never touched. This is money. I don't know if these cases, you know, some of them could be actual evidence that can put people away, but some of these cases, it's the money is outweighing what the whole situation. Because if it is that with Cassie, that means that she got, I believe that she said she got 20 million out of it, right? So that would be for the 20 million would probably go on for the tape, the abuse she claims she's been through. That would be the 20 million. So what we're dealing with in federal would have to be what else? What else? What else? Because you got the man behind bars, and we thinking that, yo, there's more, that they're gonna reveal more, and we're gonna see what's going on. But when we hear and see what's going on, we start to realize, wait, hold on, you played a big part in this too. You played a big part in this. You played a big part. A nasty part at that too. And I know they had to put your business out in the street for it to get dissected, but when it hit the street, you know, we know what's going on here. Like, it's like, I don't know where this Diddy case is going, man. I really don't know, man. And then I get on social media, right? And it's like every day is something, like it's something new, like, and it all pertains to money. I hope you guys can understand what I'm saying. Like, it's always surrounding money. Like, people are suing every day. People need more money to survive. Females want more money out of the fellas. They don't even want the time anymore, y'all. They want the money. And it's like, what's your aim? Like, could you trust a person that, think about it like this. I think I go deep into it. Like, say you get sick, right? and your female, she was just there for money. Don't you know if you in the hospital bed, some females won't even, they can't even pull the if they say you gotta pull the plug on them. Some females like, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna wait till he get out this coma. But these chicks that's coming up now, oh, they willing to pull that out, get your life insurance money, run. All of that stuff is scary stuff. That means that person would stay around you for all these years just to collect money. That's the world can't run like that. We all need money because prices going up. But at the end of the day, it's like you gotta have some heart too. Like, but you don't just care about people. You just gonna be the richest and just do what you want. Companionship, it plays a big part in love. These people are putting money over all of that stuff. Like some chicks, they saying they want to be a stay-home mom just because they just want to stay home. I'm just like, man, this everything is like twisted. Social media is some good things that it did, but there's some other it's some other doors that it opened. Hold on, y'all moving real fast on here. Hold on, and put up. If they're not married, they can't do anything. Shouts out to y'all, Melinda, Jasmine, Robbie. Don't sell your soul for a jelly roll. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Yeah, I'm telling you that it is so. And it's sad too. It's sad that female. And I'm not. It's not every female, but it's just it's that desperation to be either famous or rich. Like I'll do anything. That right there, I'm telling you, that's the spookiest you'll ever, yo, it's spooky, y'all. I'm telling you, it's spooky. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about, man. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, they will do anything, anything for, and this is the that type of mentality right there, that's when the world is gonna become a different place because it's almost like, whatever happens to you, you don't even know that you're unsafe with that mentality right there. Like when something, don't you know that people, it's like if a prostitute, God forbid, get killed or something is done to her, that don't really make the news like that. It's because that people feel like, oh, nah, she put herself in the position. Even if she fell on hard times and she had to go out and do that, the level of not caring plays a big part in a person that only is money driven. I know don't let these people fool you, and don't just think that money is everything. You will fall in a very depressing state, because to be honest with you, not everybody is going to be the richest. We're not going to all be rich. We're not going to all, it's what you're willing to do. And I've seen this play out in, I think it was that Netflix movie when they challenge people, you know, they'll do anything just to get the money in these prizes. That's what it's becoming, and it's crazy out there. It almost makes you think, like, why can't you just start that with that same mentality and just do it for yourself? In other words, you have that Robin mentality where you want to find somebody that with their eyes open. So let me dress a little sexier, and then you don't really like the guy. You don't really like the guy, but he has money, so you'll let him do anything to you. What type of family you coming from? What type of people that told you this was the way? Like, just because you can do there's a certain type of female that goes through that route, and they could tell you at the end of that, there's nothing good that comes out of it. It's either they end up being lonely with a bunch of cats, or they have a bunch of money and they're unprotected because people out there are aiming to hurt them, and they don't have that strength. They might have the financial strength, but when it comes to the physical strength, where they need some protection and people that really love them, so if God forbid something happened to them or they end up in the hospital or things like that, you'll have somebody standing around your bed hoping that you get out there and go and love you down when you get home. But it's this greediness that, oh, I'm being that, money has, it's been, I guess, elevated for the females. There's a lot more things on social media a female could run to get some money instead of just taking off their panties. But that's why sometimes I really think about when the females say, like, I don't need a man, I don't need this, I don't need that. I'm like, You might not need a man now, but what type of man that you say you don't need? Because we're all different, you know? You might need a good man. Say something like that. Say the things that's going to be more beneficial to you. There's nothing wrong with carving out a guy and say, you know what, he has something going for himself, and I feel like I could add this. There's nothing wrong with that. Finding yourself around somebody with some stability. But if you don't like the person, you don't love the person, and you don't see yourself, what are you there for? Now she's explaining how I hear like jokes. I don't know if this was a joke saying how he had a Tootsie Roll micro PP. All of this stuff is like, so that means all this whole time, this is the stuff that was in the back of their head. You didn't want to be with the man, so why you stay around him? For the money. It don't look good. That don't look good. Another thing I wanted to bring to you guys, YNW Melly, they denied him again. This is why I always tell the youth, there's a lot of people right now, they are being arrested for crimes and things that happened in past years, and they're picking people up and throwing them in prison. These are I don't think he's getting out, to be honest with you. I don't think he's getting out. I don't. And I'm gonna talk about this really brief because I watched this guy on YouTube for a while come up, and he hasn't. I'm talking about DDG, and this I believe her name is Halle Bailey. When I heard this situation, I just know from the temperature that we're living in right now that sometimes what we hear and see might not be that person's fault. And it's because the energy that us as males and females have towards each other is almost like a fight without throwing the punches. It's like, I'm gonna hold, and this, I'm not saying this is what happened, but I'm gonna hold a kid here and I don't want you to see this, I don't want you to do that. It's a friction going on that we have within each other that sometimes can get out of hand, and some people might not understand it, but it's the times that we're living in now. And sometimes there's love in the mix of that, and sometimes it's just like a separation because we're trying to still find ourselves, and we find ourselves doing things that we might not normally do or even want to or would do tomorrow, but we just do it out of anger, and things just happen. And I see that's happening a lot. I don't say that any of them are bad people. I like DDG. I feel like just saying he's a bad father, that's way too much. Like, and then all of it, could have something have happened? Yeah, something could have happened. But I don't think that it garners like people just downing him, and because he never ever, I'm talking about from the time I first seen him, he's never ever displayed these traits. In other words, it'd be different if he was wilding all the way up to now. He wasn't that type of dude. So just to put that tag on him and just to label him that, it's just kind of like social media, here we go again. That's just how I feel. Like, just don't paint a picture on somebody because of their mistakes, in other words. Because right now, our mistakes, I'm going to include myself, the mistakes that we are making right now, they don't necessarily stick to us. They could just be like an angry moment. Yeah, there's some people with mental health that you see them out in the street wilding. They need a different type of help. But I'm just talking about us as people. Like, we're going to make these new, I would call them social media mistakes, where our image takes over how we think about our lives. Like, the image that we have on social media can never be the real image of us, because it's an image that you're giving your best self, you're giving what you know, you're coming with the things that can help people, and that's 50 to 60% of you. We all come with our wrongs. We have things about us that we want to fix and that we're working on. Not everybody can work on themselves, and everybody just good at one time. It takes time to work on yourself and look at your mistakes and say, you know what, I could have handled that a little better. Social media don't even give you the time to think it out. It's just next day you're on, everybody's talking about you. This is who you are. This is how you are. This is how you treat people. That's not right. It's not right. We got to slow down and start figuring out everything ain't a court case. Everything ain't a lawsuit. Like, what's up with that? If that's the case, I don't need to be on social media if that's the case, because I'm going to make mistakes and I'm going to do things wrong. But do I have to be like crucified for it? By who? I'll let God be the judge of that, instead of people that randomly just think this is somebody's life and their life is not all the way correct. So I'm trying to find these ways of having a better understanding of why things get displayed as headlines and why people paint people in certain ways and feel like that's them. Because the guy didn't never display no, he's never like that. Like, and I know that she has pictures and things like that, but he's never displayed that in the past. You know, it's sometimes it's people bring the worst out of you. Some people bring the worst out of you, and some people bring the best out of you. And we've seen a lot of that. So I'm not gonna necessarily just bash him, that because well, where's that go? If we keep bashing each other and keep doing all of this nonsense, where does that leave us all? Because we all make mistakes. I don't know. I just don't know. I feel like when it comes down to like prison and things like that, those are for people who takes people's life. Maybe, you know, end up in hurting somebody or taking something. That's where those things end up. But when it comes down to us as regular people, we can't just paint each other like that, because we know I make mistakes, you make mistakes. I don't want people to just judge me on my mistake. That's just what's been going on in social media. I don't like it. I really don't. I don't like it, man. It upsets me. It upsets me, yo. I'm not gonna lie, man. The little break I had on Wednesday, y'all, it was just kind of like, whew, what is going on? That's how I really felt, honestly. Like, what is going on here? Especially I didn't take too well to them, they killed Qua in Philly. I didn't take too, that is still sat on my mind up to this day. Is because what do we, when somebody's doing good and somebody is, whether they're arrogant or whatever they are, you know, some people could be arrogant, they're just showing off or whatever like that. We have to, as people, understand that, like, no, he's just being arrogant right now. That might not be how he treats his family or people. We can't just keep that arrogance. Maybe that's a social media play. Maybe that's a character play for social media that got that person a lot of views and they want to stick to it. Yeah, it could be detrimental to them if they start living it out. But for the most part, for people just trying to survive, people just trying to get their views and change their life and things like that. For the people that, there's a lot of addictions out there. I'm not gonna hide behind it. Alcohol is a bigger. I seen these females. They was driving this car, y'all, and they were all drinking in the car. I think it was tequila. I see the little bottle, drinking, and they end up killing themselves in a car accident. Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff going on. But without the drug use and without that, we just people, yo. We just people trying to become a better person, or whatever we feel like is a better person for ourselves and our family. But nowadays, when you wipe out family and you put money ahead of all of this stuff, then I'm scared of you. You know, I'm scared of you. I'm scared that if I show you my success, that you're gonna look at me in a certain way where you feel like, oh, why did he get that? Why he's making that type of money, or why is he wearing that type of watch or that type of jewelry? We can't look at each other like that. It's unsafe to look at each other like that. We can't do that. We can't just, because if you paint a picture like that, then you're gonna eventually you start looking at people like they're all the wrongs in people, and eventually it closes you up. Now you start staying in this in your little bubble, not knowing that we're all in this world together and everybody does different things. I guarantee you, I almost could 100% guarantee you that the porn industry, they're gonna start putting so many big regulations on that, and a lot of females are gonna be upset. Upset, not males, not males. I'll be honest with you. It's not us on this one. It's not us on this one. It's not us on this one. Ladies, don't get mad. You know it's not us on this one. Because there's a lot of guys out there, if you notice that the reason why females are making so much with this money and the over-sexualization things is because a lot of guys are just looking for love, or they're looking for sex. One or the other. Females, they're looking for money. Think about it. Think about it. There's females out there looking for love, but at the end of the day, the types of females that we're seeing, they're looking for money. It's money that drives them. And that's how their brains are corrupt, because they feel like, oh, if I have money, that could replace a man or whatever partner they choose. That's not, money is not going to be compatible to love. It's not. So if you keep up on these routes, you're going to keep finding yourself with these types of people with these types of mentalities. But if you're asking me, is Diddy, right now, from what I hear, does he deserve 25 years in prison? No. No. From my heart, I'm telling you that, no. No. That's just how I feel. That's just how I feel. And I'm not knocking no females out there that's been victims or abused, because I love y'all. I got love for y'all. I know what it is, because a lot of people trust me with their secrets. A lot of people speak to me on certain situations that they've been through, and I feel for them. And I always will rap for them in a different way. But at the end of the day, this is not what this is. This is not what this is, y'all. No way. I can't say it. It's not. I can't fix my mouth to say that, you know, she didn't participate in this, or she wasn't money driven in some way, some shape or form. I can't. Okay, Chris Brown. When you say with Chris Brown, you mean his arrest? Well, if you're talking about the arrest, what are you talking? I just want to make sure you're talking about the arrest. I don't want to speak on the Chris Brown and Rihanna. You already know what it is. You know, family's family. I'm not going to keep digging into because I already found the forgiveness in my heart with that Chris Brown situation. It's almost like the same thing, just getting out of hand, things getting out of hand. But if you're talking about his recent arrest of him throwing the bottles, yeah, that social media has a big play in that. It's a big play, and it's this power driven thing. And I hope that he doesn't do time for, I hope he really doesn't do time behind this, because this was, I believe the case was back 2023. I mean, come on, you guys. A lot of it is going to be a money play. I feel like when a person earned that so much money, and you have people out there, there's going to be hawks and people looking to get at your money, you know? It's almost like, even if you have a store, people, the return policy will kill you. It's always going to be something that's after you. Chris Brown, when it comes down to, if you're talking about his recent situation, I didn't dig into it as much, but I did hear that it's something about him throwing a bottle or something like that, and it's hurting somebody. Well, he has to be accountable for that, and let the injuries that that person encountered, or whatever that person had to, he can pay for that. And I'm not saying you could just pay your way out of situations, but what I'm saying is, if that is the case, that a person had injuries and things like that behind it, this thing set up in place where he can get the lawyer, and now that would be sound more like a play on him paying for doctor's fees or whatever things had going on. But at the end of the day, I'm hearing like doing prison time for all of this. No, I don't feel like that should be. I don't feel like that should be. You know how many times when I was young and I was in the clubs, I've been in a club where it's shot at. We all had to hit the floor. I've been in clubs where there are fights. Look, things happen when you're in places where you're not supposed to be. Whether I felt like that was the place for me to enjoy myself, it really wasn't, because something happened. Look, if I thought smarter, I would have knew that the type of crowd that's coming into this place, I can avoid all of that. I had wifey at home, family at home. What the hell am I going to go in a club where they're letting somebody in with a pistol? So that I have to take some of that wrong too, for me just not being aware of something like that happening. That's the reason why I don't do no clubbing or none of that nonsense now, because the people that it gathers up, you see the same people, everybody's standing on the wall, everybody's watching what everybody wearing, half of the people look the same. It's not the type of environment that I want to place myself in when I got other things going for myself. So if that's the case that they're talking about with the Chris Brown, I would say that, you know, this fees attached to when you hurt people out there and people go through lawsuits. But putting him in prison, nah, I don't think so. Nah, hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. I don't think that he should be in prison for that. What do I think about religion? I think religion has to be more implemented in some of the youth upbringing now. I feel like people are skipping past religion, because religion gives you a sense of purpose. Whatever religion it may be, as a human, you need that faith in knowing that there's a higher power for you to achieve the things that you achieve, and live life knowing that there's something else to come. Without religion, it's almost like you're just living off of science. You're living off of the things that you could figure out. But think about it though. You think if you could figure out everything, then why would you be here? Think about it. As deep as that may sound, if you could figure out everything, then you should know everything, right? that's just not how it works. That's not how life works. And I feel like if we had more religion, we would see a lot of more relationships with healing. A lot of people would be more forgiving. A lot of people would understand what forgiving really means. And we wouldn't be taking things to the extreme every single time. That's a problem that we have. Oh, something's going wrong. Call the cops, this and that. You call the cops now, they're not on your best interest. You interrupting their break. They coming over, and it's this constant doing the wrong thing. So I feel like religion, whatever religion you may follow, or you've been, keep that close to whatever you do, whether it's your business, your relationship, and that it helps you get past the thing that you thought you couldn't get past. The hurdles that you'll have in life, religion gives you a little extra push to get past that. So I feel like religion has to be more pushed to the forefront and never down somebody else's religion or what they believe in because their family structure, because I always felt the same as we are all praying to the same God. Whether we put different titles on as human, you know how we are. He wearing blue, you wearing red, he wearing yellow, she wearing pink. You know, we like to attach things to, but no matter what, y'all still wearing something, you know? So that's the religion part. I feel like if you don't have God in your life, then the decisions you make is just all on you. You have nobody, and if you can't correct yourself and you're hard-headed, and it's just you're setting up yourself to fail. If you can afford to break the law, does the law apply to you anymore? That's a tricky question. Afford to... Well, that depends on the crime, right? So say if you're a person that you're wealthy and you're doing crimes and you're breaking the law and you're just paying lawyers and to get out of the situation is what I take from that question. I feel like the law is put in place where if you do things repeatedly, that's the more time you will get. So that, let's say you pay yourself your way out of a situation. You did a crime and you hurt somebody. You paid your way out. You paid the lawyer. Karma within that would be, if you haven't changed or correct your wrongs, then you have to go back to that. There's going to be a pattern of this repeated behavior. And once you repeat the behavior and you keep getting put in the courtroom, that it's going to keep getting worse and worse for you. And it's going to come a point where no matter how much money you have, they're not going to honor that, and you still end up with the time, in other words. Because you got to think about it. The feds, they don't need money. They make money. They actually make money. They don't really need the money. They are more concentrated on the 99% conviction rate. That's what they're concentrated on, not losing. But you can be strong-headed and wrong at the same time. I feel like if they made a mistake and they made a play and they might have made the play too early, and being that Diddy is such a big mogul that when it hit the media, it became bigger than the information they had on him. And if you look at it in that sense, that's why I say religion always comes into play, because we are not really supposed to judge each other. God is going to be the real judge, but there's people put in place like authority that would keep people away from people just to make it a safer world. We came up with that, not God. We came up with that. So we have to look at it like, if you feel like a person is always winning, like going in court, paying this off, paying that off, eventually that's going to catch up to them too. Money doesn't run the world like how we think it does. The people behind the money, the people the most richest people, they have investments in other people, whether it be in other person's company, when it comes down to like bankers. It all takes people to spend the money, to invest the money. It takes people. So everything is still people driven. But a person that just feels like they're wealthy and they can get away with anything by paying people off, that's where we go back to that female mentality of, you'll do anything for money. A cop about to give you a ticket, you have money, so you slap him with a couple $1,000s and he just doesn't write the ticket and he drives off. If we keep living in a world like that, you know how dangerous the world could be? Now, I'm not saying that Diddy's, because if you really look at it, he paid her $20 million already. He paid her 20 million. He tried to pay the 20 million and to keep it under the wraps, but then the feds came in and they started grabbing things, and now they're pulling her. It's like they almost like they pull her back into it, and that's where it gets really tricky. I don't know if that answers your question as well, but that's why I always tell people, if you're just gonna base everything ran off of money, then we all in trouble. We all in trouble, because you might have more than me, and then I have more than him. It's like everybody's gonna have their what they feel like they feel like their top status is. So if you keep playing on, or who has the most, who has this, who has that, then you're not going to be able to really recognize who is going to be the right person, the nice person, the person that cares a lot. You're not going to really know that. You go to the doctor, you don't know if the doctor cares. He's just there for a salary. If everybody gets on that type of mentality, this world is going to be a scary place. We got to really give props to the people that don't have as much but care so much more. Those are the people that really makes life meaningful in our lives and in our everyday lives. Those are the people that really don't get, and it's sad they don't really get like their hero trophies because of it, but they're really the ones that make, we're the good people make the world turn. It makes the world go around. People that's just driven by, it's because they might, sometimes, you know, you feel like you want something, or you feel like you're real hungry and you take that first bite and you're not hungry anymore, you didn't really want it. That's in your mind. Your mind told you that you wanted something that wasn't best for you. We can't think like that. This greed, you'll be surprised how jealousy and greed, it corrupts the world in so many little ways to big ways. And we've seen a lot of these situations right now. It has a lot to do with that. That's why it's very confusing to an average person just going to work every day, hearing these stories on the news, coming back home and making decisions on it. It's that much tricky, because if you don't really understand the temperature of today in 2025, how we're living, how people are being raised, the mentality of people out there in the streets, the struggles, if you don't understand any of those parts, then you are definitely going to be off on your vision of how you think things are supposed to be. Sometimes some bad things are the right thing to do at the time, and sometimes some good things are the wrong thing to do at the time. So we have to play everything out as an individual, and take everything in, and then look at it from a distance and try to get some understanding before we start pointing the finger. I'm learning that for myself, because when I heard the case, I said, "Oh my God." It almost makes you feel like, say, God forgive me if I don't know the information, or if the information is not there and I'm judging something wrong. God give me the strength to have some better understanding. That's what I usually ask for, you know, because you don't ever want to have that on your card, that somebody's in there and it's not what we think it was. I'm not that guy. I don't wish people wrong and wish people bad and things like that, because I have a lot of good things going on in my life. And I know that a lot of the good things I have going on in my life, I would say 40%, 30% has nothing really to do with money. It really doesn't. It's absolutely crazy, y'all. I'm still confused. I think I'm more confused than you guys with this whole case, bro. I'm just trying to, I think it out. I hear what's going on, and I'm just like, there's something that's not being told. There's something that I feel like you can't just, don't get rid of people. Don't get rid of people. Everybody deserves a second chance, and some people are on their 10th chance. I understand. I get it. I understand why a person in that lifestyle could go too far. I can understand why fame makes people treat people in a certain way. I get it. I get that. I totally get that. If you're coming up in a loving home and you have a better sense of understanding, you are kind of looked at as a target, because you block out all the people that's being deceptional, like all the clothing companies and these places that just want greed, and then they see people that have understanding, and they don't want to put us near the people to help them, because they want to make their money. They want to make their money, man. And the way I look at it, I don't know, man. It's when you when you come up and you got love for people and you grow that way, that's just the way you think. You're not gonna you want to find understanding in every situation. You want to put yourself in a person's shoes, even if they don't fit, just to get a understanding of why, what led you to this point. And once you figure that part out, then you can say, okay, then you can put the mistakes to the side and the rights and see the correction in it. Okay, are these mistakes that much of a mistake where they have to be, somebody has to do time for it? Or are these mistakes something that a person has to correct to even come back in society so they won't harm people? There's a lot that goes into this stuff. It's a lot. Nobody on this earth is perfect. Nobody's perfect. So that's how I feel with that. Man. I don't, let me see. But God didn't give religion. He gave laws and commandments. I understand that. I get it. I get it. You know, I get it. I get that there's a way to conduct yourself, but you have to have some understanding for the people that wasn't raised that way and don't know that. I get that. And that's the reason why I get over my hurdles the way I do, and that's the reason why I don't take everything in and feel like it's directed to me. I get that. But for the person that doesn't get that, the little kid that's looking over and saying, why that kid has all the clothes and his parents are buying him this and buying him that, I could also speak in his ear. I could whisper in his ear and say, you know what? You have a loving family. The reason why they're giving him all that stuff is because his pops is cheating on his mother and they just giving him stuff so he could be blinded by it. You have everything right here. Yeah, your pops might not be able to afford it right now, but look at the things that you can do to pay them back for the love that they showed you. It's all about understanding, you guys, you know? Sometimes you feel like the person that you're looking over and you're just taking like a look at them and you're seeing what's going on. And the kids, they get so confused because they want things too, as every kid should and want. But when they don't have an understanding of how to get it or the reason why they don't have it, that's what can corrupt their minds at them. And the way things are looking right now, they raised all the prices. So the kids, they're gonna have a harder time even trying to put some structured families together or trying to find love in different places when people have these types of mentalities. The dating pool is very small when it comes down to good people. Sexual people, oh, it's wide open like legs. But when it comes to good people getting together and having understanding for each other that they want to build something together, the dating pool is very small because of it. So for the youth out there, if they're not being guided on a path where all they can see is just rap, or all they can see is just they want to get attention and they don't have no talents or skills that they're going to hone in on, well, that's what makes it harder. And that's the reason why, a lot of these kids, man, I seen another, where it was in the was it the Bronx? It's Philly. Two kids got shot right yesterday, and one of them passed away. And I felt like there's a lot of fear that goes into that kid pulling the trigger. Sometimes they're doing it because they're seeing things on YouTube and gang banging and this and that. But sometimes it's just because they don't want to get hurt or get into a fight with somebody like how it used to be. And the press of a trigger, it demands so much. It could take somebody's life. You can pull a gun on somebody and demand them to do whatever. And I feel like that is a big part of society today. That's the reason why out here in NYC, there's no, the gun laws are very strict. And the kids are being misled, man. They're being misled. They're looking for the tough guy role because they feel like that's what it is to be a man. And they're not seeing the guys that use their wisdom or the guys that just go every day and work on there's so many successful people that's not it doesn't have to be just entertainment, but just doesn't use like attention for their success. Like they use their skills that they learned, and there's so many different ways. But if you're only seeing as a kid on social media all the highlights of it, their brains are not even developed enough to understand, no, life is worth more than gold. It's the things that we think that we can cherish. It's really us. We are all the chat GPTs and the AI stuff, that it's just duplicating our human dynamics. We're the ones that can create. We're the ones. So if they don't see that within themselves, then they lost. There's no way you could, if somebody bothers you, you're trying to protect yourself and you pull a gun and you take their life, and you're not thinking, oh, who's going to take my life after, or if the prison, you're going to be in prison for the rest of your life. You're thinking out of fear. You can't be so fearful of your own people, fearful of people out there. Sometimes that's why when you see the youth taking up boxing and things like that, I like that. I took karate as a kid. But you see the youth taking boxing. That boxing is a great way. If you see your son or your daughter, they have like this aggression. If once they learn how to box, and they will hold back from the fight instead of pushing forward. If you notice, a lot of those boxers, if they know the boxing skills, they're not gonna go and just automatically take that in the street. You end up a dead person like that. What they usually do is it changes their mentality. It takes a certain mentality to train and having a good trainer, and that now they don't want to fight because they know they're gonna win already. That's the mentality that they should have. Like, I'm not gonna ruin. I know I could beat this guy up. He's just talking loud, but I'm not gonna ruin my future because I know what's next to come for myself. I'm gonna keep training, and I maybe one day get a belt or whatever their goals may be. But if they go out there with they take their skill to hurt somebody else, that's when karma and just the laws of life, it starts to mirror the negativity, and it leaves that dark cloud around them. So see a lot of that happening. A lot of people, I seen another person, they shot through a bus, almost hit a lady. It's like no sense of knowing what's next. It's just living for today. We got to get out there. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard trying to get the youth to see that, when there's so many other things that can be put in front of their face. Like, one day you could be pushing peace, but then the next day your close friend get killed. And if you don't have the type of mentality to say, you know what, my retaliation is going to be me bettering myself and the people around him, maybe help his family out. If you see the only retaliation to do the same thing and let them hurt the same way, well, then the cycle continues. So it's always you're always gonna, when somebody victimizes you, the first feeling, if you don't understand, you're going to feel like a sucker. But then the next feeling after that, you're going to feel like a survivor. The more you learn, the more you better yourself, the more you can, if somebody says something about you, you no longer know that that's not you. That's something they have within themselves, to go out there and down somebody or hurt somebody or say something that makes somebody feel some kind of way. That's something that they have within themselves. That has nothing to do with you. How somebody else out in this whole world feels, in this universe feels about me, is none of my business. It's none of my business. Social media makes it my business because they throw it in your face. Oh, he's this, he's that. But it's really none of my business how you feel about me. That's just, if there's a connection between us, then we can talk that out and we can get our rights and wrongs together. But if you just randomly pop on here and he's talking trash, that's none of my business. And even if I do hear it, it's not up to me to approach the situation with this, yo, what do you say about me? Because people are gonna say stuff about people. That's just what we do. So the level of understanding with that is, it's all up to you. The ball is always in your hands, regardless of what court you're on. It's always in your hands. You know, when you're out there and you're in the streets and you're on your every normal day life living, and you're out there, anything can happen to us because somebody else don't see it the way you see it. But the more you have people around you that understand you for you, it makes it that much easier, a better life to live. You live a happy life and you'll be all right. If money is the thing that makes you happy, that's the only thing that makes you happy, of course you can be controlled. But if you're making money, and yeah, that levels up your happiness. If you're living a good life, yeah, that levels up your happiness. You get to help people, you get to do things. But if you're taking the money and now you become this figure where, I'm addicted to sex. Now you're dating these chicks, and in the back, you forgot about how it took you to get there. You forgot that chick don't really love you. They love your money. You think you said I didn't show them money, but you pulled up in a night. You pulled up in this expensive car. You got expensive clothes on, and you're presenting that you're selling her an image. And if she looks at you and say, I don't really like the way you look, she's not gonna tell you that. She's gonna be like, let me see what he can do for me. And now you start to become like one of those guys where they feel like, oh, in these relationships, and then a couple years go, and then Shorty's trying to take him for all his money. She never loved you in the first place. Because a real female that really loves you, it's not going to be about the money. It's going to be about longevity, and it's about time. A lot of females that really love you, it's time. Can you spend some time with me? Could we go here? Could we do this? Oh, I see you over there doing your show. After it's over, could you do this for me? Let's do this. Let's go out together. It's not just about, because those other females, you could slap some money on the kitchen table and go about your business, and when you come home, they got the same smile that you left with. But at the end of the day, do they love you? Nah. They'll have kids. Females have kids. They'll have kids with you, and you still thinking the person is in love with you. Meanwhile, they're in love with your money. So when times get hard, you're the first one out. You're the first one out. Now they're gonna use the kids to make some money off of you. So, man, I'm hearing on some good news. I don't know if this is good or bad news. I shouldn't say good because I don't know what's been going on with Lil Durk, but I know that they're trying to push for a new bond request for him. And I just feel like Lil Durk was at a point in his life. Well, we all know now from social media and all these RICOs and things that's going on that you can't go out there and hurt somebody with the money that you earn. We just know that is not. That's when you're gonna find yourself in prison. If you reroute that mindset, it's not about you hurting somebody. Like when I say I made it, mine made it, Mickey made it, it's not has nothing to do with money. It's me waking up every day and being able to go out there and create something new. Like I can't wait to. I really want to tell y'all my surprise. My investment. I'm going to be putting a lot into it. I really want to tell y'all, but the way this social media is set up, people just, and it's not. I don't mind if people run with it because I feel like, when I love something, I expect somebody else to love the same thing. We all on this earth together. But when it's time where I have things all, right and everything, I'm gonna let you guys know, my new venture. But when it comes to Lil Durk, man, I feel like he could be a voice for them Chicago kids still. I see a lot of kids out there, a lot of guys out there, they're turning their lives around. Yeah, the violence is still going on, but at the same point, they're waking up too. They're waking up too. They don't want to live like that no more. They want to live past the age 26, 27. They want to make it into their 60s, and they want to be an OG at one point to become wiser and wiser and the youth. You see, when you have that type of mindset, you'll never miss a meal. You'll never miss a meal. Because the people around you are going to know you for you, and if you do need something, somebody going to always help you out. My pops told me that as a kid. He said, no matter where you go, you and your brother, no matter where y'all go, there's always going to be somebody that's looking out for y'all. It's just something that you keep in your heart. It's the type of spirit you move with that shows who you really are. So if you could keep that in there, and wherever you go, there's always going to be somebody there to help you out. It's always going to be somebody there to help you out. That's the way I kind of like, I try to put my life around, just surrounded like that, man. I don't know what else I have for you? Oh yeah. Like I told you guys, I'm not jumping off subject, but there's a lot of new music out there we should check for. I feel like, in a sad way, I feel like hip hop is dying, and it's dying because people are realizing they're trying to get their most out of it, like not making music with no feeling, just making music for attention. All that stuff is saddening to me because it's way more than that. And I don't know, man. I started to think to myself, like, are people looking at rappers and things like that like the enemy? I started to think that sometimes because some of them will go out there and they don't know the reason why. That's an artist that doesn't know their influence. They're just collecting the money, and they feel like they're gonna keep inserting drama in people's lives and inserting an unhealthy lifestyle. But there are still some MCs that are out there and really love the craft. I feel like y'all got to come to the forefront. Y'all got to just keep working hard at that because you're no longer, there's a lot of MCs that made money already that's well off, but now you got to come to the forefront with the right messaging. come with the right messages, make the messages more clear on who you are, so people outside of hip hop won't confuse you and put you in a place like you're some criminal. Yeah, it's a dangerous job, but in life is dangerous, you know? It's not just, life is dangerous, you know? Cops, they have dangerous jobs. There's a lot of doctors have dangerous jobs. You think when a doctor, somebody passes away on that bed, when they was trying to do that surgery, you think that they don't go home and that don't hurt their heart? Yeah, it does, it does. So everybody has a dangerous, we're living in dangerous times. We're living in times where they're telling us that if the food and the things that we need in our lives to survive, the prices are going up, that means that people are caring more about the business and these big budgets more than they're caring about the people that really make these businesses grow. Once we start caring about us, we're going to find it to be a way better world and make it more comfortable for people. Just because somebody don't have something like you do, don't mean you got to shine it off in their face. Don't you know that you can make somebody, you could put a smile on somebody's face for something way cheaper with no price attached to it? That makes everything. It defines your character and it shows who you are as a person. Don't go out there and down people for the things that they might not have. Why don't you highlight people for the things that they do bring to the table? Because everybody goes through it. Everybody needs a helping hand. And that's just how I'm feeling today. That's my energy. That's the only energy I have for you guys. I feel like what's going on social media right now could be overwhelming to a good person. And to people that's just out there with the greed, they have a better understanding of it because they're just doing everything for attention. Me, myself, what I had to do, I had to really take like this whole social media has changed my goals in a way. And now my goals have changed in a way where I structure it, where I can help people within the process of my journeys growing. So this next thing that I'm working on, I'm gonna need a whole lot of people to support. I'm gonna need a whole lot of loving. I'm gonna need a lot of that to make it grow. It's gonna be a company. It's gonna be something dope. It's something new. You know, I'm always come with something new. And if it inspires you to do the same, I want you guys to be the ones, the first to do it. I'm gonna release it to y'all. I'm gonna release it to the public, let people know what's going on. And yeah, it's something really dope. I'm always coming up with some dope ideas. This one right here is gonna be, I think this is, God has his hands on me coming up with the idea and everything. So I just gotta put things into play, work on a blueprint, start from scratch, work it all the way up. And I would give it about till, I would say this coming September, October, maybe no later than November, you guys will hear a word on what's going on, because it's going to be really, really good. And I'm really proud of myself that I still have that mind and understanding to think of new things. It's like God blessed me with a few things. I got a few superpowers that I honed in on that's going to help me out as well as you guys, you know? So that's why I always come up here with the good word. For all my people going through it, all my people not feeling right, you're not feeling healthy, there's a way you can heal. Heal yourself, heal your mind. Heal your soul, your spirit. When you go out there, be your best self. Don't hurt nobody. We all human beings. We got heartbeats in here, man. We can't hurt the youth. Can't put the youth out there like that and don't give them a little blueprint, man. Give them a push, man. Let them know that they love, man. Let them know that it's not just their parents and the people they come in. Let them know when they come out the house, people love them. Don't go out there like that, y'all. We got to do better. Don't do that. Don't do that. We all had our time, and there's people coming up. They're looking up to us, man. Don't have these kids thinking that sex and all of this stuff that, you know, we know that ain't always right for them. Don't have them thinking that that's it, man. Go out there and you know, be a better parent, be a better friend, be a better, you know, person, you know. Go out there with that, and you'll be, and things will be better for you, you know. Put a smile on your face. Don't frown. Don't be angry all the time. Don't show off for nobody. Show off for yourself. If you want to shine your light, and people, they will love that. But don't shine it on people that ain't got nothing, you know? That ain't right. That ain't the way to go about it. Everybody ain't coming up easy, you know? Some people struggle. Some people losing people that they really love. Don't go out there like that. Treat your people right, you know? Love people, all right? I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I really appreciate it, y'all. And thank you for just tuning in to me. I just wanted to let that energy out for you guys. I hope you guys can take it and do something with it. Maybe like and share it. Maybe subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get it up to 3,000. I'm almost there, and I did it without no celebrity or anything attached to it. I'm just giving you for my word and my creative. That's where that's how I'm coming with it. That's how I'm giving it up. Love you guys and all my peoples out in NYC, all around the world. It's your boy Mickey Made It. If you're new to the channel, you know what to do to the channel. Subscribe right now. Love y'all, all right? Enjoy your weekend.